It's been 2 months since Expedition 33 released, and I still can't stop thinking about this game. It lives rent free in my head. I'm constantly consuming it. I'll pop into different streams to see where people are at in the game, to see how they react to the end of Act 1, Act 2, and the end of the game. It's been very interesting to see all the different reactions and discussions about this game. It's been a long time since a game has had me in a chokehold like this. Honestly, I think the last game that had me like this was The Witcher 3, which is kinda crazy because now it's been 10 years. Goddamn. But man, this game is one of them ones. Who could have honestly predicted that this game would have turned out to be generational? Again, like I said, I can't stop consuming this game. From the moment I wake up, get out of bed, make my bed, I'm playing the soundtrack. Brushing my teeth, playing the soundtrack. Making breakfast. The soundtrack for this game is different. I feel like it's kind of in its own league. Now, I know there are a lot of games with amazing and fantastic soundtracks, especially JRPGs, but I don't think there are many games where just off the soundtrack alone you can get the whole story. Like, if you play this for someone who doesn't play games, they'll feel those emotions and get a sense of the themes for the game. They'll know a story is being told. Now, play this for someone who's really into classical music and they might tell you the whole story better than you understood it. It's hard to choose a favorite, especially since it's 154 songs, but if I had to choose one, it would have to be Visages. I can't say the full name. I know it's Visages and it's like Adia something French. It's the one that plays when you fight the angry mask. Instantly just
Gone away, empty are this chamber that used to be between us.
when you hear this played for the first time, you're like, yo, what the fuck? It's kinda eerie. You're wondering where this brooding buildup is going. Oh my days, what is this song? The piano organ is booming in my ear, and oh my god, this singing is fucking nuts. It feels so dramatic, emotional, and is kind of angelic. Nah, they cooked crazy with this one. Goosebumps every time. And what's insane is that this isn't even a major boss you're fighting. You could easily skip it. I wish it was a minute or two longer, but it's a fantastic song. I think it only plays like twice throughout the whole game. Another one that's close is also a Visage song. I think it's the one that plays when you fight either the happy mask or the sad mask. That one, I don't know, something about it. Like the melody just chill. It's kind of like a vibe. Honestly, it's a very hard choice. I feel like most other songs are tied with each other. You got Alicia, Lumiere, Renoir song, all the songs that play when you're fighting Renoir, the Paintress song, Ciel song, Gustave song, Minoko song, all the gestural songs. Yeah, S tier soundtrack is phenomenal. The perfect thing to have in the background while you're doing things, studying, while I'm editing or writing a script. It's amazing. And when certain songs play from pivotal moments from the game, not gonna lie, I get a little watery eyes. You know, recalling that moment when that song played and what was going on at whatever part I was in the game, all the big fights, the climactic moments, or just thinking about the game overall and what an experience it truly was. Also, you have a nice balance of classical, some rock, and a little bit of jazz. It's gonna be funny to see what my Spotify rap is gonna look like at the end of the year. You know, I have to continue to praise and glaze this game for opening the door, for opening people's mind to make them think, you know, turn-based RPGs aren't bad. Now, the negative thing about that is if this is their first time playing a turn-based RPG and they go back to play other ones, they'll probably be disappointed since it won't really play anything like this. I don't think there's any other turn-based RPG that has a parry or dodge system, so it might be rough for them. But me, I already like turn-based RPGs. I will say after being the game, it has put me in the mood. It has given me the itch to want to play other games with similar mechanics. Obviously, you got the classic Legends of Dragoon. I watched my stepbrother play this when I was younger, and the two things that I remember was that it's 4 discs and the covers were fire, and the transformations. The transformations in my head, from what I remember, gas. I do know there's this fan-made mod that enhances the visuals and fixes some of the translations, and I think some of the gameplay. There's also Lost Odyssey, Fate of Resonance. I think Sea of Stars also has QTEs, and many more that I'll have to look into. So this should be a fun journey whenever I get around to it. Now, I don't think this is a hot take, and I think a lot of people can agree this is likely the best written game of all time. At the very least, top 3, top 5, because if we're just talking about writing, it's up there with the greats. A few come to mind like The Witcher 3, BioShock, Cyberpunk, the Mass Effect trilogy, Fallout 3, New Vegas, some of the Final Fantasies, the Persona series, Disco Elysium, the Telltale games, Spec Ops: The Line, Alan Wake 2, and Baldur's Gate 3. Now, I do think this is the best story in any video game, and that's not to say the games I just mentioned don't have good stories. They do. It's part of the reason why they're highly regarded as the GOATs. There's only 3 games that come to mind that I think are some of the best stories told in a video game. That's The Witcher 3's first DLC, Hearts of Stone, Cyberpunk's DLC, Phantom Liberty, and BioShock. BioShock, a classic, unforgettable twist.
Would you kindly?
But Hearts of Stone, Phantom Liberty, and Expedition 33 all have one thing in common. It told a real and human story. If you were in Ogrid's or Somi's position, would you have not done the same? I won't get into it for spoiler reasons. I recommend you play those DLCs or watch a video breaking down the story. But Expedition 33 tells a beautiful, cohesive story from start to finish, and it's very impactful. It doesn't take 30+ hours to tell it. It's not padded. There's no filler. It doesn't drag. It's yo, Paintress is bad. We gotta get rid of her. Which seems simple, but throughout the expedition, everything you thought you knew starts to slowly crumble. Your perspective of who's right, who's wrong, who's really the bad guy. All these feelings having you conflicted on whose side you should be on. It's truly a roller coaster, and by the end of it, you're in an emotional wreck. It's a story that unfortunately many people can relate to or will relate to at some point in their life. Most of us should understand where these characters are coming from. You know, it's crazy to think about for a game with a serious and very heavy theme. It somehow was able to have wit, charm, and comedic moments, and it's well balanced. There was never a moment where something was out of place because of that. It never felt off or weird, but I think a big part of why it worked was that the dialogue just flowed so naturally. Honestly, it's kind of scary. I don't know how they did it. Another thing I don't know how they did, there's no bad characters. I don't even hate any of them in a good way. Actually, wait, I almost forgot. Fuck Verso. You let Gustav die. But being a painted version, Verso is a phenomenal character. And speaking of characters, I think CL is my favorite character. I didn't even notice this until recently. At the end of Act 2, when everyone is getting gomage, CL had her eyes closed because she has already come to terms with death. She's at peace with it. It all comes full circle when you're getting to know her, you max out her relationship, and you find out why she's afraid of water, which was so fucking tragic and heartbreaking. And during Verso's ending, when they had their bittersweet goodbye, she was the one who understood grief and death the most. But yet, everything she's been through, she was still cheery and able to enjoy herself. Now, I know there's one word that kept popping in your mind while playing this game: cinema. There's so many cinema moments. Defeating the Duelista, the Mass Axon, that motherfucker got aura. Also, his scenes are directed so well. The second phase of the Paintress, resurrecting the fallen expeditioners, going back to Lumiere with them, fighting Renoir for the final time, and defeating him where Mael comes out of nowhere. Like, dog, chills, goosebumps, cinema. And since we're on the topic of moments, there's a lot of fantastic moments throughout this game. They'll make you smile, laugh, make your jaw drop, or make you cry a lot. But my favorite moment from this game, there's 2. First is when you bury Gustav and Mael says, "We could never tell if you were my brother or father."
To me, you were both best brother and father I've ever had.
Boy, when I tell you this hurt, this shit fucking hurt. Like, god damn. Why, Verso? My second favorite moment is at the end of the game when you're having the final confrontation with Renoir and Mael again is trying to convince him not to get rid of the canvas. I'm gonna let it play.
You can hate me, but that's a choice I must make. As your father, I must look out for you, especially when you can't look out for yourself.
You treat me as if I'm still 5.
I treat you As if the shadow from the worst day of our lives is going to suffocate you and take you from us too!
Chills. Such a strong and powerful moment. The intense build up, all these emotions welling up in the characters. You think things are about to pop off and the music is going to kick in, but it doesn't. Just silence. Honestly, when I look back to when this game was first announced, I didn't have crazy high expectations for it. Like gameplay wise, I did. I thought it was for sure gonna be fire, but story wise, I didn't really have any expectations. I thought it was gonna be a solid or decent story. Nonetheless, I was still very interested and excited to play it. This is how it went playing the game. Prologue, oh wow, a really strong and emotional start. Cinema, one of the best prologues in the game. I'm invested. Act 1, what the hell, ain't no way that happened. Cinema, this is really fucking good. Act 2, I'm addicted. Cinema, this might be top 10 for me. What is going on? Oh, we messed up. Act 3, doing the side content. Cinema, shit, this might be top 5. Beating the game, masterpiece, 33 out of 10. And here we are now. Man, this is a top 3 game of all time for me. My top 3 was Witcher 3, both RE4s, and Bloodborne. Expedition 33 bumps Bloodborne down. If this ever gets DLC, it will be my number 1. Now, the last thing I have to talk about is the endings. They're both fucked. There is no good ending. There's just one that's less bad. Renoir, Verso, and Mael were right and wrong in their own ways. It just got to a breaking point where enough is enough. This is tiring. We do what we must to end this deadlock. I'll just say it now, I do prefer Mael's ending, but first Verso's ending. To me, when I seen this ending, I thought it was a little bittersweet. At the same time, it was depressing. Who's really happy in this outcome? Renoir, obviously, because he got his wife back. I guess he also got his daughter back. Doesn't seem like he really cares too much. Clea, I guess she's glad she has someone to help her in the war against the writers. Mael, I don't really think so. Sure, she got this cool ass SKA plushie, need that, and it seems like she's smiling, but to me this smile is fake. It feels empty. It's a facade. She's putting on a mask. Like, this is supposed to be a family that's back together. They're paying their respect to Verso's grave, but where is the familial love at? Why is there distance between them? Why are they not closer, hugging, holding each other, comforting each other? I understand Clea still has some resentment towards Alicia, but damn, it don't cost anything to show me love, dog. And what kills me is the gang, the homies, waving goodbye, fading away, except Mael isn't waving to Alicia. It's basically what Mael said in the beginning of Act 3. She doesn't have a life out here. She's a husk compared to herself from the canvas. She's missing an eye, her face is burnt, she can't speak anymore, it hurts when she breathes and tries to talk. She doesn't have anyone to confide in. It doesn't really feel like she's welcome. Clea views her as weak, useless, and a liability. She's just there merely existing. Yeah, it's depressing and very bleak because who knows what the future holds, but that's part of life. I do want to say this real quick about Clea. I do think in a way she is misunderstood. Yes, she comes off as a dickhead. She belittles Mael and throws Verso's death in her face, but she is alone and frustrated. So who better to take it out on than the person who is associated with Verso's death, which isn't a good excuse. It's uncalled for her to do that to her little sister, but she is the oldest, so she has the weight and responsibility of trying to keep the family together. Someone has to be an adult and take on the burden of trying to keep the painters alive. She isn't allowed to really grieve Verso's death like the rest of the family. It's like she said, the world doesn't stop simply because they are in mourning. Now, Mael's ending, I can't lie, is very dark and disturbing because she won't unpaint Verso and she controls him, which, you know, if he didn't let Gustav die, I would feel more bad. But the upside with this ending and why I prefer it is we don't cause mass genocide to everyone in the canvas. Plus, we get Gustav back. Also, maybe I was just slow to realize this, but the quote Mael says at the beginning of this epilogue refers to the other ending because she's only 6 this scene, so she's not gonna have a long life, living the rest of her life in the canvas, which makes Versal's ending that much more depressing and bleak. It also probably applies to Versal since he can grow old now. Okay, we do have to think about this. I know I keep shitting on Versal for letting Gustav die, but if he didn't let him die, we could have had a whole different outcome. Like, Gustav could have kept Mael in check and guided her down the right path, or maybe he could have helped Renoir and Mael come to a compromise. Who knows? I just thought about this and it might be a hot take. I know everyone prefers a Versal's ending. It's a canonical ending, which is totally understandable, but I think until the creators themselves come out and say so, we have to consider both endings can be canon. Just because it's best for Aline and Mael to move on, which it absolutely is, no doubt about that, and it's the more positive outcome, doesn't necessarily mean it's a true ending. I want to play devil's advocate. Let's not act like Mael's ending is not a realistic outcome. As we've seen from history time and time again, history repeats itself. The cycle of hatred, whether that's self or to others, always continues. We'll continue to make the same mistakes our parents made. You'll say you'll never ever be like your mother or father, until one day you look in the mirror and realize you become the very thing you said you wouldn't. It's a never ending cycle at times. It's not very often that this will happen, but there are people sometimes in life you cannot help, no matter how hard you try. No matter what you do to try to convince them, some people just don't want to be saved. They don't want help. They've already accepted what their reality has or is becoming. Some people are just stuck in their ways, and by the time they realize the error of their ways, it's already too late. If Mael wants to slowly unalive herself in the canvas, then so be it. It's the choice she's made. Life isn't perfect, and just like Renoir said, life
Keeps forcing cruel choices.